Thomas here with Much Props, going to give you another how-to video. Today I am building something that gets requested quite a bit from time to time. It is definitely a nostalgia point that hits very close to home because me and my older brother were obsessed with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when we were little kids, and I went back and watched the 1990s movie, and it definitely kind of brought back that warm feeling and that kind of just nostalgic vibes. So I thought, why not make Casey Jones' mask from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? I'll put my own spin on it, and yeah, it'll be something pretty cool. It's kind of like a hockey mask, but you'll see. Today we are going to build Casey Jones' mask from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles out of EVA foam. Let's get to building. After making close to 200 templates over the past 5.5 years, it gets a little easier. I know the general shape I need to make just by looking at a couple of images and can knock a simple template out like this in around 30 minutes or so. I trace the pattern with a pencil onto some 6mm EVA foam instead of using a Sharpie. Since the mask will be white, Sharpie tends to bleed through the plasti dip and show up on lighter colors. If you ever looked at one of my patterns, hopefully the first thing you notice is the cover page, which basically explains everything for you, but a lot of people misplace it, we'll say. I color code most of my templates to make it simpler, not only for others, but also for myself. Blue highlights means a 45-degree angle cut inward on that edge. Green highlights mean a 45-degree angle cut outward from that edge. And red usually signifies that there's an overlay going somewhere on that area. Now, this pattern is kind of a combination of a couple different reference images, taking various parts that I like from different designs, like the movie and the different variations in the cartoons. All my edges get contact cement, let them sit for a couple of minutes, then tack them together when they're no longer wet. For this build, I glued the main parts together first, then I did the eyebrows and the nose piece next. Like I said, different versions of Casey's mask do exist, and one key difference in a lot of them is the eyebrow and nose area. Some eyebrows bulge out, others sink in. Noses are either pointy or kind of a boxier shape. There are a lot of hockey masks out there that you could do some modifications to, just carving into plastic, but this is definitely a fairly simple build. You could test the waters out for your foam crafting. I position the nose first and then bridge the gap with the eyebrow bits. To get my transition on the eyebrows, I decided to sand back the 6mm foam to blend it in. It takes a bit of a steady hand, but after knocking it back with a sanding drum, I switch over to a stone bit and smooth out all the edges. I also go ahead and clean up any edges that are a little proud or have some glue still on them so that they're nice and smooth. To make it a little more rounded in the forehead area, I did my heat forming after it was assembled. You could do it before, but I wasn't sure how it would all fit together as I freehanded the shapes of my mask. You could totally do more shaping after the glue up. You just kind of have to be careful not to heat up the seam lines too much because it will cause the foam to separate. Two coats of Plastidip. Followed by a coat or two of white spray paint. It was pretty hot outside when I was spraying my mask here, so I had a couple of seams that separated in a couple of little spots. To fill those gaps, I just clumped in some white acrylic paint to hide them. This Plat Effects is like Mod Podge and paint had a baby, so it does a nice job of filling small gaps. Once it was dry, I dirtied the mess out of it with some brown and black dry brushing, as well as a couple of light washes of them watered down. For some of you, you might stop here. I've been doing some cell shading recently on a couple of projects, and I really like that aesthetic and thought it would put a nice twist on this paint job of a Casey Jones mask. So with the Psycho mask from Borderlands as inspiration, I set about adding some black lines to key details with an acrylic paint pen. I've tried a lot of different brands over the past couple of years, and the ones that sell in my hobby store called the U Mark A tins are my favorite that I have access to. I know there are a lot of cool ones out there that I'd be willing and loving to try. Maybe you can give me some ideas in the comments below. Last bit is, of course, strapping. Positioning the mask on my face, I feel for where the edges sit and pull the elastic banding to that area and cut. Most of the masks that I saw in my reference images had 5 points of contact on the mask, but I kind of felt that was a little bit overkill for a foam mask, so I just sandwiched the strapping between the mask and a thin piece of EVA foam like I normally do, and I did 3 points, side, side, and middle. The plastic versions have holes that are cut and the elastic pulls through. With foam, I figured it wouldn't take long before the foam would get ripped by the strapping. So I glued it to the inside like normal and then cut a little tiny piece to glue over the front to make it look like it was fed through. And we are finished. Here is the end result. Overall, I think it turned out pretty cool. Definitely giving me some nostalgic vibes going. Me and my older brother at one point had our entire bedroom covered with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle paraphernalia thanks to my mom and dad. And we were pretty obsessed for quite a while. Yeah. Maybe you'll try and make one of these yourselves and impress your friends with the ability to pull something from your favorite childhood movie, cartoon, comic, and make it into something pretty epic. Yeah. Maybe you'll get some...
Yay!
And inevitably, they're going to ask you, how'd you make that? You can give them one of these. Tell them, much props. So I'm just going to slide this on and put on a little bit of cockiness and... Oh, what do you know? I found a Jose Canseco bat. Batter's up. If you enjoy what I do here on YouTube and want to continue to see builds like this one, please consider joining these awesome people listed here with me over on my Patreon to build a bigger, better, more creative community together.